I'm still learning things. So you're going to be practicing your presentation that you're going to do here on this stage. And what I've told the other kids is, when you get it all written and ready to go, find a place where you can say it out loud. Just go someplace, close the door to your room, kick your brother and sister out, don't let mom come in, and just practice saying it out loud. And that will help you a lot. When we talk out loud, we say things differently than when we're just reading them on a page. Whenever I read poetry, I always read it out loud. That's the way it's meant to be done. When you're reading the newspaper, that's not necessarily meant to be read out loud, so you can just read it to yourself silently. So you better practice out loud. But the number one thing we need to talk about first, whatever you're doing, whether it's public speaking, such as giving a report in class, or being an actor on stage, know what you're talking about. That will solve a lot of problems. If you're doing a play, know your lines. You have to have your lines memorized. If you're giving a report on something, know what every word in that report means. If you don't know what a word means, what do?
Ask somebody.
Or what's an even better way to do it?
Look it up in the dictionary.
Very good. Look it up. Sometimes, if you don't have a dictionary available, ask somebody. Number one, find out what that word means. Learn how to pronounce it. Which is so easy to do these days. You just look it up on the internet. I have an iPad and I have a dictionary in there. And so if I don't know the meaning of a word, I'll have the iPad look it up for me, and I press a little spot on the screen and it'll pronounce it for me. So there's no excuse for not knowing what words mean. If you know what they mean, you'll be up there with confidence, and the audience will think you know what you're talking about and believe you. Number one, know what you're doing. Number two, your eyes are your best communication instrument that you have. It's not your voice, it's your eyes. You can look at somebody without saying a word, and they know what you're feeling or what you want to say. So be able to use your eyes. And that means if I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm not looking around or staring at the floor, mumbling like this. I'm looking out at you. So be able to look at people, or you don't have to look at them, and we'll talk about this later. But have your eyes up and open. Include the people over on this side of the room too. So I'm going to talk to Miss Moline, I'm going to look at her. I'm not going to talk to Miss Moline by looking out this way at the ceiling. Okay. So be able to include everybody in the audience. If you're just talking with a group of your friends, you don't just look at one of them and talk. When you talk to each one, you look at them, right? And you're probably looking in their eyes, or looking towards their eyes. You may not realize it, but you do that. So number two, we're talking about having respect for your audience by paying attention to them, and they will pay attention to you and listen to what you have to say. Another thing is body language, which I didn't do the first time you were here. I forgot that. And when Delaney came in with the second group, she reminded me. Body language. Remember I said looking at your feet? You don't want to do that. When you're on stage, when you're on this stage, when I'm directing shows with kids and adults, I tell them to keep your feet still. If you don't have any reason to move your feet, don't do it. Make sure your actions have a reason. I'm not going to be pointing at the ceiling if I'm just rattling on about something else. I'm pointing at the ceiling because there's a reason for it. If you walk, if you want to move your feet and go somewhere, you walk. We have a rule in the theater that if I walk from there to here and somebody asks me why, I better be able to tell them, or I shouldn't be walking. So body language and movement is very important. What does this mean? Without me saying anything, what am I doing? Yeah, go ahead.
You're frustrated.
Frustrated? Okay, what else might you think I'm doing? Yes, over there.
You're mad.
Mad? Okay, I could be mad. Yes.
Exhausted.
Exhausted? Mm-hmm.
You really don't care.
I don't care. Good.
Pouting.
Pouting? Mm-hmm. So all of those, just by doing this, I don't have to say a word. You don't have to know anything else. I could be saying a lot of things. I'm in a play I directed several years ago that had two women in it that were arguing. And then I had them stand, one was standing like this, they were facing each other like this. One was like this, and the other was like this. And they were staring right at each other's eyes. And they didn't have to say a word, but the audience sure got the message that they were angry. And it was absolutely silent in that auditorium. As soon as they took their positions, there wasn't a sound in here. So the audience was waiting to see what happened next. Their noses were that far apart. It was not easy for them to do that because the first time they did it, they started giggling. Which you can imagine if you try that with somebody. Get right up to them and just that far from the nose, you'll probably start giggling. But they had to pretend that they were mad at each other. So not only were their eyes glaring like this, they had hands on the hips. One was hips, one was arms crossed. Body language is very important. You're not going to stand up in front of an audience and tell a happy story like this. Or like this. Something else I tell my actors, know where your hands and feet are at all times. Know where the other actors are if you're in a play. How many of you play basketball? Probably a lot of you. Does the coach ever tell you to know where the other members of your team were, even though you aren't looking at them? You have to be aware of people around you, too. So if you're acting in a play, you've practiced the play, the director has told you to do certain things. So if I'm over here, and there's people over there, I know that without even looking at them. So be aware of where the people around you are. We have a wide, narrow space here, a wide, shallow space here, shallow back and forth. But we have people in this side of the auditorium, Mrs. Moline is clear over there. So whether I'm an actor or somebody giving a talk about something important, I want to talk to these people. And then I may take a break, walk here in the middle, and talk to these people, talk to you in front, talk to the people in the back row. Hello, everybody in row 12. Without saying hello to everybody in row 12. But I will direct my eyes back there. Then I'll pick a time and come over here and talk to Mrs. Moline, because I want her to get the message, or else. Which brings me to another body language, the pointy finger. If I point my finger at you, you're going to wonder what's going on, right? Be careful when you use the pointy finger. It could show anger. Or let's say I have an invisible person up here with me. I'm not going to pick on any of you kids right now. I have an invisible person and I'm acting in a play, and they're another character in the play with me. And I want to say, I'm mad at you. You think I'm very mad? No. I'm mad at you. Am I madder?
Yeah.
Okay, what if I say, I'm mad at you? That's even stronger emotion, isn't it? Combining the pointy finger with the word you can be very dangerous sometimes. If it's in a play and it's in a script, that's okay. But if you're doing it out on the playground, that's something different. Using the word you can be dangerous sometimes, so be careful how you use it. Some other body language. What can we... Oh! Delaney reminded me of this last time. If I'm talking let's say we're in a play, and we're talking to each other. Now, if we were on the hall or in the playground, we'd face each other straight on and talk. But when you're on stage, what are you seeing? Can anybody see my face over here?
No.
So what am I going to do? I'm going to have to turn out slightly. And the people maybe on the far side may not get it, and you're going to turn just about 45 degrees. So you want to present yourself to the audience even though we're talking to each other, right? So we can talk like this, we can talk back and forth as two characters in a play, and the people know we're talking to each other, but they can see his eyes, those people over there can see his eyes, and these people over here can see my eyes. Thank you, good job. So how you face the audience is important too. If you're walking, and this is something that's real difficult if you think about it. Walk in rhythm with what you're saying. Some of you may be in marching band in the future, and you're going to have to march to the rhythm. That can be tough. I know people that have no sense of rhythm, and they could not, Clark Morey could not march in with the church choir no matter what. 20 years in the church choir, he could never march into the music. But you're going to have to walk, and if you walk in rhythm with what you're saying, it's going to be less distracting to the audience. Also, it will get your point across better. So that's something that goes with acting, not so much public speaking. And they're just going to be